Earlier on City News, we introduced you to Mike Sloan, who 1 year ago this week died with the assistance of a doctor. Medical assistance in dying has been legal in Canada since 2016. And now there's a bill in front of the Senate that would bring controversial changes, including allowing Canadians to choose MAID even if they aren't presently dying.
So it's about reducing the suffering that people go through and helping people. It's about autonomous decision-making, respectful of life, respectful of death.
City News spoke one-on-one with Canada's Minister of Justice and Attorney General David Lametti as he awaits a response from the Senate.
We have a deadline. It's the end of February. We want to have Bill C-7 in place.
The original legislation states death must be reasonably foreseeable for someone to qualify. In January 2019, two people in Quebec's disability community won a Superior Court ruling stating the criteria for imminent death violated Canada's Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The federal government didn't appeal, setting off the court-imposed deadline to update the laws. The changes cleared the House of Commons and now await the Senate's approval.
I want all Canadians to be able to have a similar set of rights.
The legislation includes removing the rule that someone must be able to consent right up to the moment they're about to die. This has meant some people with a terminal illness have moved forward with MAID before they're ready to die because they're afraid a medical episode may render them unable to consent down the road. Another change would make it so death no longer needs to be reasonably foreseeable, meaning someone with a condition such as fibromyalgia or chronic pain could now receive a doctor-assisted death, but they would first have to complete a 90-day assessment period.
But we also have to realize that if you end the life of people prematurely, it's not a benefit, it's a harm.
Trudeau Lemons is a professor in health law and policy at U of T. He defended the previous legislation at the Quebec Superior Court hearing, but he believes the proposed legislation now goes too far.
If you take away the protection against premature death and singling out people with disabilities and chronic illness, you're basically discriminating against them in access to one of the most essential rights that they have, which is the right to life.
There is that core group that is just against it, but look, the vast majority of Canadians support this. The vast majority of the Canadian medical community supports this, and it is something that we have determined to be part of the rights that we have as Canadian citizens under the Charter. Tomorrow on City News, we bring you the final chapter in Mike Sloan's journey, and we'll hear from members of both the Indigenous and Black disabled community who say the proposed legislation is dangerous, considering the insufficient supports in place for those members of society. I'm Adrian Ghobrial for City News.